You must be thrilled to actually be back organising a live event again.
I am very excited because we are definitely answering to a need that we saw expressed by so many leaders. It will be difficult to build trust and to build confidence because you are reduced to a 10 by 10 centimeters window.
Mm-hmm.
And I am reduced to a 10 by 6 window. So you cannot even feel my expression. You cannot feel my or your authenticity. You know, it's very cold conversation. We like it or not. And the problem is not just about the meeting itself. It's what is happening on the side, before, during, and after. And this is how, especially for business conversation, you need to definitely build the relationship between people. And this is why the in-person and physical meetings are absolutely crucial. At the FII Institute, we want to carry a very important message, which is part of our DNA, which is hope and optimism. We should always look at the half full glass and not only at the half empty glass. And we think it is part of our mission to be a curator of optimism.
What do you think are the kind of guiding principles the world leaders will need to adhere to in 2021? Is there a single key lesson from 2020 that should light their way for governments and business leaders this year?
This is why we see speakers flying from US 14 hours just to spend 12 hours in Riyadh on stage because they want to collaborate. We saw that also during the G20. The main lesson of the G20, which I learned by hearing the leaders, is we were not and we will never be able to fight this virus, this crisis, unless we collaborate, unless we build partnership, unless we share best practices. Multilateralism is absolutely crucial. So the first lesson is this notion of collaboration. And I think this is new in comparison to another crisis, which was 2008.
Yeah, which we were going to talk about. The
financial crisis, yes. And so we can talk about that. So this is why we are at the Institute at an FII helping to create these platforms and to create this platform to precisely see how investors will collaborate for good. This is the most important. The main lesson, collaboration.
Given that inability to act that we can see, I mean, we look at Europe, you particularly look at the UK right now, and then you look over at the US, and we were talking previously, you know, not only are they mired in political instability right now as they try and move on from today until 10 days time, plus they've got a massive problem with coronavirus to deal with as well. What opportunity does that give to the Gulf, to the regions that were all right last time in 2008? Do they now have a big opportunity to set the agenda, and how can they drive things forward?
I think the Gulf will be probably one of the regions which will be the first one to rebirth, to precisely lead this neo-renaissance. In the old time, the first Renaissance was born in Firenze, in Italy, in Europe. I think the neo-Renaissance will potentially start from the Gulf countries. And this is part of the answer of your question. For multiple reasons, because they manage very well the crisis. They are managing very well the vaccination campaigns. They are managing, I would say, very well the sustainability of the domestic markets. They protected very well their citizens. And definitely now, I think they are potentially exiting from this crisis in a very good health, I would say, economically and physically. And this will help to expand. And this is why we see, in my personal opinion, so many people who want to attend FII in Riyadh, because they want to come here in this part of the world because they see opportunities of restarting some machines, some investment, some business opportunities to restart the global economy from here in a new way. You were talking about refresh, reset, etc. I think here they will come to reimagine. And you cannot reimagine through a Zoom conversation. You have to reimagine by brainstorming together under the same roof. Because it will be a full reinvention, a full transformation of what is happening, at the opposite of just pushing on a button and restarting with a statu quo as it was before. I think you have to totally reinvent all the business models, and this is why we are targeting so many industries during FII. We want to understand how we can reinvent the culture, how we will reinvent the industry of sport, how we will be reinventing the industry of entertainment, how we will reinvent the industry of energy. All these areas has to be totally reinvented.
Talking about that reset moment, and we talk about a chance to hit refresh. Is this a refresh, or is this an acceleration of trends that were already coming? Because we have seen technology, this has probably taken an evolutionary step forward in the past 12 months because it's had to.
This is the main backbone and the red line of our global conversation end of January. We didn't build the program of FII just between 2-3 people. We called many international speakers, potential speakers, global CEOs. What do you want to talk about? And what they told us is, please build a program where we will have very disruptive, unexpected conversation on how can we reinvent totally ourselves. We cannot restart as we were because we saw the limit of our previous business models and organization in case of a world crisis. So we need to learn from it.